What do we say? We are back. We have to go and get him back. It's been a while.
I've been around.
No, I'm just saying it's been a while.
Since the three of us have been together.
We send you away for, you had a transfer deal to go and visit the Mzansi guys.
Yeah.
So you're back.
Oh, yes,
It was that time you needed to go and visit the Mzansi guys.
It was a loan
move. Yeah. That never worked out.
Yeah, they didn't sign you. They were like, no, thanks.
The Numcherere had to go and fix some other stuff.
Yeah. Nice to have you back.
Shane, Shane was holding on. Welcome to welcome to Conversation with Brian. I'm in Sizwe. Mcherere, what a week. What a week from a South African point of view. Turbulent time. On a high in Polokwane, then boom, 2 days later we find ourselves sitting and thinking, hey son, what happened?
In terms of Lesotho. With
guy.
or without them, you should be trying them anyway, Kai.
Yeah.
Lesotho. And no disrespect to Lesotho.
Yeah.
But especially because you're at home, the advantage is yours. Full house, the advantage is yours. I really think you can have the beating of Lesotho without Tebogo. And he's one of our best players, if not the best player, Bafana Bafana. So it's just sad that we're in the situation. But yeah, what a blunder, man.
Gerard, I mean, you when a player, I always say I saw tweets coming up or social media guys coming up, us, Mcherera. Has a conversation that I found, but that's so far anyway.
Okay.
So I see guys putting stuff up and saying, yeah, but Debo should have known, Sundown should have known. I'm thinking myself, but that's got nothing to do with the player.
No.
I mean, as a player, you didn't even know when you had yellow cards, which you outlined, you didn't even know. You don't even, the rules even.
Even at club levels, sometimes you don't, because there are games now you just want to go and play.
Yeah.
Whatever that happens, even if maybe somehow you sit with it as a player and say, no, let me see what Tibazo react because I want to go and play.
Yeah.
That's how exciting it was, because they were playing Lesotho and they were playing Limpopo, Polokwane.
No, also remember.
You understand?
We're Bethlehem, Baba. I want to swim to Msangala.
I'm just together.
Supersport was more based.
No, they used to play their matches, yeah.
No.
That side.
Yeah,
well,
also, no, what is the Bethlehem? We can't count or something. But here's my point. You have to consider when were the World Cup qualifiers.
Yeah.
After that round of World Cup qualifiers, we had an entire AFCON qualifying campaign.
Yeah.
Yellow card after all these games. Because he's been involved in all these games, all these qualifiers, whether it's World Cup or FIFA or AFCON, I mean to say.
Yeah.
So it's up to management to keep up.
There are simple rules. I mean, for an example, you know that if you play matches in a FIFA qualifier, get a yellow card in match 1, get a yellow card in match 3, even if it's not consecutively, but you get a yellow card in the next one, you go 2 yellow cards, eventually you don't have to play. I know there is communication that goes out. Somebody drops the ball. Because communication should go out. I know from a CAF point of view, for an example, if a player is suspended, you can't load them on a CMS system. Once the name gets in, it kicks them out because it says this player shouldn't be playing. But FIFA handled these World Cup qualifiers because it is their competition, not a CAF competition. Yes, it is played in Africa because CAF have to have teams that are going to the tournament proper. And this happened. So let's go back to the game itself. On the day in Polokwane, the numbers started off about 17,000. Then boom, just have sold out. And you could see the way the stadium looked. Brilliant. I mean, this is something else. I mean, we have seen it in Bloemfontein. Every time we talk about Bloemfontein.
Everywhere in the country.
Everywhere in the country now. The support is back for Bafana Bafana when Bafana is playing anyway.
Yeah, to a point where even if you check social medias, even lots of the Nigerian contributors are saying, hey, Bafana Bafana is playing some other football. They're saying we're the true representatives of African football because we have so many players playing locally that play on the international stage as well. So Bafana Bafana is not only exciting South Africans, which you can see from the reaction of people turning out in the stands, but also throughout the continent, they're saying, yeah, big up South Africa. And great football. It's nice to see the youngsters, the future of South African football, doing well. Mufugeng, Jaden, doing as well as they are. So the mixture of Futi, it's superb, man, and the country's getting behind them nicely.
Asikhulume ngecoach Mcherere. You know when Hugo Broos arrived in South Africa the first time around and then he dropped Mbazwane, there were a lot of people fighting and eventually came back and said, hey, I made a mistake. I need the guy, he's important for the team, brought him back into the team. What do you make of the team that he has put together as a coach, and how important is a strong coach and a coach who literally can come out and do certain things? How important is that in this situation we find ourselves in now?
I think for me, he has just turned our thinking mentality in terms of us as South Africans, because we always look at our own players that are doing well, like Aya. But if now we take the story back to Ngeza, the last time Ngeza played, nobody was happy with Ngeza from here in South Africa. They were booing him and doing a lot of things. But if you look at a coach that still believes that Ngezana plays an important part, and look at what Ngezana is doing, and you also look at all these youngsters. But for me, I want to give credit to whatever that Dr. Koza introduced with the other channel, like about Supersport, to bring the DDC. Look at how we are now, because most of these players, these are players that come from the DDC. And now it shows that somehow if we've got a good development structure that is happening with the DDC, this is what we get now. Look at the football that we play. Honestly, international football, honestly.
Let's take it back a bit. You remember when Bafana were to play the World Cup? When Carlos Alberto Pereira arrived here, the first thing he said, 2010, the first thing he said was, it is mind-boggling that you have a professional league, but you got no feeder. At that stage, we did nothing about it. And when he said it, we thought like, he's talking absolutely hogwash.
Well, some thought that.
Yeah. A lot of people are like, no, we don't have the money for this and everything. What that has done is something else.
Yeah, there's been growth. I mean, DDC, varsity football, as well. So there's been a lot happening behind the scenes in the development structures that's contributed now. I mean, I think we've gone on a 10-year cycle since those initiatives started, and we're reaping the rewards now. It was always going to take time to reap those rewards, but I think we're at a point now where we're reaping the rewards. Also, when you look at, we had a question about the team, Hugo Broos, guys like Mokoena, weren't necessarily everyone's favorites, but how he's grown in his time at Bafana Bafana, the contribution is immense. So Apollos, the growth, the depth, I mean, the central defensive pairing has changed again. But we got depth, like you're saying. So it's got a nice pool of players where even if the growth is immense. And it starts off with those that weren't popular. And then and so on. It's looking nice.
Look at the left back, Basadine. Whoever thought somebody like that can come and just claim that place at Bafana Bafana? You look at like Abu Ukrimodiba, guys that were there for a long time. And now Basadine doing such a great job. I mean,
it was also good to see Mapangule making his debut in the game they played in Polokwane in front of his own fans. I mean, that was a special move there. Sometimes as a coach, coaches most of the time don't want to accept when they made a mistake. How big is that, the fact that when he has done wrong, he comes back and says, you know what, I faulted.
You mean,
from
like
the coach, when he said to discard one player, then he decided to bring him back. And
it's huge.
And when Jaden Adams went and did his own things, pushed him out, and he's called him back, and look what he's doing for him.
Yeah, well, there's some players where you earn the respect you get. I think Maufiga is a new coach. It's easy, especially as an outsider. It's easy to say that as an outsider coming in. Then with time, this guy is playing consistently at every level, on CAF, local games as well. He's doing well. And you can win someone over who's got an open mind. So yeah, it's big of him, but also that's credit to the player as well. I think Uzwane gave him no choice really.
But I still want to know, maybe from you guys, because you guys work more on social media. Is it still like a norm from the national team coach to have a meeting with the local coaches? Is that still happening? Because somehow that's where all these things.
You know, when you arrived in South Africa, you called a meeting. Was unable to get that meeting first time, and there were a lot of resistance from some clubs. That is why I remember there was a time we wanted to go to a stadium, was actually locked out to get into the stadium. But I think the relationship has grown. It's looking slightly better now. because he's allowed to get into stadiums, he's allowed to actually have a conversation with coaches. But I think we need to get to that level where he's able to have all coaches, not individually, but maybe having them all together so that we're able to have a national team set up. A discussion around a national team. Because I've seen some coaches have come out and criticize him sometimes to say, you must deal with this problem. You can't tell him what to do at Sundowns or at whatever team the story is. So, no, not Rulani. Even Mangoba had the same. Mangoba had the same thing to say to him. I don't tell him how to play players at Bafana level.
Let's be fair to those coaches. Yeah. A lot of the time when those coaches say that, it's not like Bafuyek saying, but I've got a statement to make against
it is us.
They're answering questions from the media.
Yeah. So question social media.
Because now legs of thunder. It's social media.
Maybe social media in the 1990s.
When social media, you need a phone.
Social media because you believe in phones. From Lifeline.
Let's talk about Mufokeng. I mean, his first start was in a game in Polokwane. In fact, he has always been a sub, but he gets his first start, and he has a blind of a game on the day. And people are starting to talk again. The conversation is starting again to say he needs to go overseas.
I have it. Yeah, it's only that somehow Maufuna separate some players from Bafana Bafana and talk with individuals. For me, yazinkuluma like yabona mani train nobati yahamba. You sub this one, you put this one in. There is still that. Hey man. Yeah, good angwazi like individually, honestly speaking, yes, there is credit that needs to go to all of them individually. But for me, I look at the way they play. Look at, did you watch against the Benin? Google Lesotho. It was more pressure because these boys knows who they playing against, the Ebase Lesotho. But you go Benin, there was a time where they kept possession of the ball, even though they were, leading to 0 or 1-0, but Benin was starting like, if the ball is passed, boom, because they want to hit them. Did you notice where they were like kicked out? Because now
Lesotho, there was a time the number 2 with Lesotho. The first they even lost it a bit. It was the end because the same.
Imagine in South Africa, Idlala, Lesotho, ne Benin.
But Corners went in 1 minute after the other.
Nina gule platform yin. Have you heard abantu base Nigeria ukuthi complain kanje?
But pick up for the most part.
Mara again, remember, out of 10 games, it's now 7 at home. We've got 7 games at home, not 5. Litutu, which is Lesotho, that's how they call it. Litutu and Zimbabwe. They're going to South Africa. Their home games is South Africa. So we've got 7 home games.
We've got 6, Baba. No, Yazi, no. 7. No, yeah, for the other teams are coming in. No, but for me, I think overall, I mean, I also loved the fact that when you saw Paul is coming as a sub, which in the end they actually contribute to the goal as well. So that's all the conversation we have. I know the producers already saying we need to to wrap it up. But looking forward to the last 4 matches in the World Cup qualifiers. For me, whatever that happens from a FIFA DC point of view, which I know chances are the points will be docked from Bafana. But I believe we have a team that can be able to conquer anybody at the moment, the way the team is playing. Thank you, Mr. Klikli.
Yeah, I just need to correct the Nigerians. Look, we're doing well in qualifying, but hey, they're talking about us now winning the World Cup. I don't know. Thank you so much, but I don't know. Hey,
no wahala there, Maga. No more wahala there.
Click, bang. Click, bang.
That's all we have for you until you meet next time. Have yourself a super one.
Sure.
I saw a cherry, and it was red.